Hello and welcome, this is Eric from AG Racing Central. This period's May savings sale on the PlayStation Store included so many good racing games that I had to make a video about them. All games on this list are available for a reduced price up until 9th of May 2024. Let's take a look at the highlights. The sales on the PlayStation Store always include a large number of titles, but remember that if you're interested in a certain genre, say racing games for example, you can always use the filters to see only what you're interested in. On my channel, I lean more towards futuristic and non-realistic racing games, so that's what you'll see the most of on my list. First up, we have Star Wars Episode 1 Racer alongside the sequel, Racer Revenge. These games were originally released for Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 2 respectively. The first game was one of the best-selling Star Wars games of its time, which makes sense since the game was based on one of the best scenes from the first Star Wars movie in a long time. They could have probably gotten away with making a simple racing game, but instead we got quite a complex anti-gravity racing game with several different mechanics to keep in mind, like health and boost management, drifting, pitching and more. The sequel, Racer Revenge, wasn't as critically acclaimed, but it's actually the game I've spent most of my time with of the two, and I have to say that it's a solid racing experience. It has all the game mechanics previously mentioned, several famous Star Wars locations, lots of different playable characters, including secret ones, and an addictive bounty system that gives you more cash for destroying your opponents. The cash is used to upgrade your vehicles, and the campaign will actually keep you busy quite a while. Make sure to check both these games out on the sale. Next up on the sale, we have a little game I may have mentioned before on my channel called the Wipeout Omega Collection. This is, in my opinion, hands down one of the best racing games ever made. It isn't even a full price game to begin with, and now when on sale, it's a steal. Wipeout is a long-running anti-gravity racing franchise, and it has always been about racing in its purest form. Omega Collection is a bundle of two games, Wipeout HD and its expansion Fury, as well as the prequel, Wipeout 2048. You will have a total of 3 different campaigns to complete with various types of challenges. The whole game takes place up to 200 years into the future, but at the same time it really sells the illusion of being an actual racing tournament, thanks to the detailed portraying of the tracks and the different sponsor prints on the billboards and the ships themselves. The controls are easy to learn and hard to master, just like any good racing game, and if you play long enough, an incredible amount of depth will reveal itself. Worth mentioning is that this game offers very little when it comes to progression. It's your skills that improve, not the stats of your ship. That doesn't matter, however, for a game that is as fun to play as Wipeout Omega Collection. A bit of a hidden gem on the sale is a game called Inertial Drift. This racer has a cel-shaded look with fictional vehicles that are inspired by real ones. The whole game gives off the vibes of the Nitro speed games from the street racing era, and in the campaign you follow a bunch of young people on the journey of competing in an upcoming racing tournament. The campaign is story-driven with cutscenes with written dialogue, and it's a welcome addition to a genre where story-driven elements at all are not that common. The special gimmick about Inertial Drift is its drift mechanic, as the drift is managed by the right analog stick rather than with the brake button. In the corners you need to manage your level of gas, steering and drifting to pass through them flawlessly, and the whole mechanic feels quite fresh. There are a lot of unlocks and challenges as well, so make sure to check this game out on the sale if it looks interesting to you. Hot Wheels Unleashed is a game that recently got a sequel, but that doesn't mean that the predecessor is a bad game. Far from it actually. You will race with beautifully rendered cars that you may recognize from your local toy store on tracks built in people's houses. All the cars feel very different to control, and making a precise drift through a corner and then activating the boost to burst away from your competition is a great feeling. There's a track editor too, and I'm quite confident that no matter what type of racing games you like, you are sure to find some enjoyment from Hot Wheels Unleashed. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel is also worth mentioning. Developer Beanox brought Naughty Dog's 20-year-old unique and engaging kart racer back from the grave, and they did it with style. At first glance, this colorful title looks like a relatively generic kart racing game, but the drifting mechanic in this game is what really sets it apart from the pack. You initiate a drift with the bumpers, and if you time your presses with the opposite bumper, you gain even more boost, but you have to switch from side to side to keep your momentum. This mechanic challenges your track memorization skill and constantly keeps you on your toes, and also makes Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel much more challenging than it looks, and I can highly recommend this title. On the sale we also have Jak X, all the way back from the PS2 era. The Jak trilogy that came before were all about platforming and combat, but the games also had a strong focus on racing various types of vehicles. A pure racing game spin-off therefore makes perfect sense, and Jak X delivers. At the game's core is an adventure mode with several cutscenes that ties all events together as Jak and his racing buddies team up to win the Crash City Grand Championship. Combat is the name of the game here, as all competitors are likely to blow up more than once during a race. The various colors of the mysterious substance called Eco will give you different powers like more boost or health or offensive and defensive weapons. Thanks to its robust campaign and gameplay that definitely still holds up, Jak X is well worth looking into. Those were my PlayStation Store racing highlights from this week. Let me know in a comment if you own any of these games and what you think of them, and check out this video for my top 10 anti-gravity racing games. Thank you for watching. I am Eric from Media Racing Central, and I'll see you in the next video.